Hi. So, some of you know my story. I'm Deirdre, um, and some of you don't. So, I'm going to share a little bit about myself with you. I'm the fifth of six children born to Irish immigrants. I, growing up, I had been sexually abused by three different people by the time I was 12 years old. At 12 years old, I picked up my first drink and my first drug. Um, from the time I first drank, I drank for effect, and that was to get drunk. And I did it very well. Growing up in New Jersey, I was not very popular. I didn't have a lot of friends. My mother was my best friend pretty much growing up until eighth grade. In eighth grade, I did make some friends in my youth group, and they were the friends that I had throughout my high school career. All through high school, I was a drinker. We drank on the weekends, we smoked pot on the weekends, we pretty much partied and had a good time. That was our weekends. Um, I went to college for a year and I loved it. It was great. But again, it was all about partying and I didn't do well in college. So after my first year in college, I decided that I was going to move to California. Three of my friends were moving there, and I decided at the last minute that I was going to go with them. So that's what I did. I moved to California and I lived there for 18 years. I met my husband. We had four kids. Within that time, I was part of a cult church, which kind of destroyed any faith that I had in anything after 8 years. I didn't drink during those 8 years that I was part of that church. I was allowed to have 2 beers a week, but boy, I couldn't wait to have those 2 beers at the weekend. It was all I thought about. After I left the church and had my last child, my drinking picked up again, and I was drinking. I don't know if I was drinking alcoholically at this point, but I was definitely drinking more than I had in a while. After a couple of years, we decided that we were going to move back to New Jersey because my father was sick and I wanted my kids to get to know my dad. So we moved back to New Jersey, and I thought this would fix all the marital problems that, we've been having over the years, and it really didn't. It just kind of moved us from one location to the next. But when I came back to New Jersey, my drinking really took off. And in 2007, my son passed away. And it was a construction accident, and it was very difficult. It was a very difficult time for my family. But I drowned myself in a bottle for a year and a half. I was blackout drunk by the time 6 o'clock rolled around. I wasn't taking care of my other kids. I was just in the bottle. After a year and a half of this, I decided to get sober. I went to AA and I stopped drinking for a year. And I thought, good, I'm good. I can start drinking again. And my drinking really took off, and it brought me to a lot of dark places. It made me do a lot of things that I wouldn't normally do. I'm not very proud of who I was when I was drinking, although at the time I thought it was great and I was having a great time. But it really wasn't. I was no kind of mother to my children, no kind of wife to my husband. I ended up leaving him and moving out on my own. And again, the drinking was just out of control. I lost my job. I lost my apartment, had to move back in with my mother. I met a man, and we ended up moving to Virginia together after about 6 months. While we were there, 6 months later, he ended up abusing me physically and sexually, to the point where I woke up one morning and I got in my car and I pretended to go to work and I drove back to New Jersey and I left him. I ended up pressing charges against him, and he is now serving time in jail. When I came back from Virginia, this event that happened kind of catapulted me into recovery. I went to a detox. I went to a 21-day rehab, and then I drank again. And I kind of got to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, what's wrong with me? I can't live like this anymore. And I decided to go to a MICA program, which is mentally ill, chemically addicted. I was in it for 6 months. It was extensive group therapy from 9:30 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. And this really helped me get to the heart of why I drank. It really helped me dig deep into the abuse as a child and the abuse as an adult. And sobriety stuck. I got a job at the hospital that I got sober at as a peer support specialist. And from there, I went to school and became a certified alcohol and drug counselor, which is what I do now. But somewhere in there, somewhere along the lines, I'm going to say 6 months to a year after getting sober, I was driving in the car with a friend, and the realization hit me that I'm not surviving anymore. I'm actually living. I'm thriving. I'm doing great. All these good things were happening for me, and I'm actually happy. And I have come out of survivor mode, and I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that I'm not surviving anymore. And from that moment on, I've been living my life to the best of my ability. I'm living my best life. I'm loving my job. I love what I do. I love helping people. I have great people in my life, friends who I can talk to about anything. My family's very supportive, and it's just been a miracle. You know, you can come out of survivor mode. You can live a life that's full of joy and full of happiness, and that gives you contentment and peace. And it's possible. I know it because I did it. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of hope. Thank you.